well. So, and we didn't do it today.
See, that must be the reason why.
Oh yeah, totally why. So, welcome to the show, and we've been talking up your sour mead experiment, and also the fact that you're doing beekeeping in Indiana and some of the stuff you're up to there. So, give us a little bit of background on you and that, so the folks listening know what's going on.
Okay, so the beekeeping thing started in about 2007, and I actually saw Queen of the Sun and decided I wanted to do what I could to keep bees and contribute to what was then colony collapse disorder. And so I got my first hive, and I decided that I was going to do foundationless, and that went all horribly wrong. And I was going to do natural beekeeping with no foundation and no treatment, and then ended up having crazy bees building comb wherever they wanted to, because I didn't know how you had to guide them, and there wasn't really a very supportive community with regards to beekeeping in Bloomington. And however, I managed to muddle through and learned a lot by trial and error. And subsequently found another beekeeping club that was an hour away from Bloomington. And then we decided, found out there were a bunch of local beekeepers in Bloomington, so we decided to start our own club. And we've grown from about 4 beekeepers to about at least 30 active beekeepers in the area. And it's been a great group. It's very collaborative, and we've focused on sustainable beekeeping and trying to develop local bees that can get through Indiana winters. And so a lot of our group are very, forward-thinking in that they're not afraid to try and raise their own queens and do queen grafting, and we've had queen grafting classes. So we've all learned a lot together, and we've been a very committed group, very relaxed. Like we're accepting of a lot of different approaches to beekeeping. We've got top bar keepers, we've got Woolray hives, we've got Langstroth. So it's a very nice broad section of beekeeping.
Nice.
So we've learned a lot together. It's been great.
That's amazing. You got from 8 to 30. That sounds awesome. How long have you been in Bloomington?
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and actually just started a new job today in New York City, so I'm getting ready to make that move.
Yeah, I saw that you were headed that way. I saw the post. It was like new adventure and all that. That's a huge jump. You'll just have to get up with Bobby and do that, and do the the New York City beekeeping. There's a lot of that stuff going on up there.
Yeah, actually, I'm as part of my interview process, I was talking about putting bees on top of the proton center, which they thought I was kidding about. They don't know me. Yeah, in fact, I was up on the roof today, and I was checking it out, seeing what services were there and if we had space to do it. So that's going to be a little side project of mine.
Cool. Cracks me up. They thought you were kidding. So what'd you say when you told them, no, actually, I'm quite serious?
Well, actually, I tried to get them to put it into my offer letter. Because I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, that would have been really funny, but I got told that they'd probably have been my boss and I in straight jackets. And I said, white jackets. I think he said that as long as it has veil, I think we'd be okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so, it looks like we may do that. So I've got to check and see what the bylaws are and all of that kind of stuff in the area that we're in.
Okay.
But, yeah, that could be super fun.
Yeah.
That could be super fun.
Sounds like it.
I always liked the idea of rooftop beekeeping, but don't they cook up there, or do you have to provide shade for them or something?
It depends. I think we can probably build like a shelter over them so that they're not in the sun and there is some shade up there. I don't know, they were talking about putting a basketball court up there.
Right.
Yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, so definitely I'm going to research it and see if we can do it. I think that would be super fun. It's a great community thing to do, and the kids would get a big kick out of it, I think, as well.
Yeah, I imagine they would.
Yeah, especially when we get to bring the honey back down, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's always that part. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then there's the mead for the adults. So that's, of course, I got a lot of attention with that. They said, oh, so we can make proton mead. I said, yeah, we could make proton bee mead. That would be super fun.
Now everybody's got a reason to be into it.
Yeah, right?
Right. Exactly.
So I hear you're doing some... go ahead.
I was going to say, so the sour mead project has been quite the journey as well.
It sounds...
Yeah, so you're going to be doing a presentation on that at the Mazer Cup, or at the AMMA.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do I made 13 different meads using 13 different strains of bacteria-free souring yeast. And all using the same base traditional mead. I went for a semi-sweet a little bit, so you would get the flavor of the honey, but it would showcase the yeast. And so what I was going to do at the Mesa is do a quick presentation, a little bit about what we did with the whole project and where the whole idea came from. And but the most important thing will be tasting the mead and getting feedback on what people think about the yeast and the mead. Because each of these has a really different flavor profile. It's been a really fun project.
It sounds like it. So what? Don't get like too in detail because the talk is happening, so we want something to be kept, back for the people that are going to be coming. But what got you into the idea of doing sours? I mean, how'd you go there?
Okay, so this was really fun. There is a guy at IU. He's a microbiologist, and there were a group of them that did a project with using these bacteria-free souring yeast in beer wort, and it was. I ended up going to taste some meads that they made for a local distillery, and that was really interesting. So I'll tell that story. I'll tell that story at the Mesa. But I ended up going to taste these meads, and then one of the meads that he'd made was with one of these souring yeast, and it just tasted like, it smelled like fresh peaches, and that was just plain traditional, a traditional mead made with this particular yeast.
Huh.
And I was like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah,
and the flavor profile was fun. Yeah, and it was awesome. And I thought, okay, well, what if I put some fruit in there? What if I put some real peaches in there? So I made 2 batches, one with less fruit and one with more fruit, just peaches. And the flavor profile with the one with less fruit was actually better. Well, that was my personal thing. It was better than the one with more fruit. So the yeast, the esters and the flavor profile of the yeast came forward a lot more with less fruit. So that was really fun. And then when the grant opportunity came up, I was like, this would be super fun to try with mead. So we used the exact same 13 yeast strains that they used with the beer. So we will be giving feedback on all of the different yeast strains. This is why it's important that we get the feedback from everybody at the Mesa.
Nice. Yeah, I expect there's going to be a bit of a rush to get into that one because sour meads are kind of a growing trend. You know, there's only a few meaderies that are really doing them, and I don't know a ton of people who are making sour meads at home. I'm sure there are people, but I haven't heard from a lot of them. So.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I can't remember who, one of the guys on Modern Mead Makers said to me, hey, you should pin a post on Milk and Funk, the Facebook group. Well, when I did, I got flooded with encouragement, and it was a great group of people. And of course, they mainly focus on beers, so they're very interested in the results as well. So that was a fun group too.
Yeah, well, that's cool that you were met with such enthusiasm as well. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. And of course, there are a lot of scientists in that group because this is what they do.
Yeah.
With all the breaks and the different sours, but they're using traditional. It's really interesting also from a standpoint that the fact that you can treat these yeasts exactly the same way as you would our normal yeasts that we use to make meads, and it's basically not, you don't have to do anything special to sanitize your equipment or anything.
Well, now that's interesting. They're infection proof?
Exactly, they're bacteria free, so I wouldn't say infection proof, but you can still, obviously you still have to use sanitization and good sanitary techniques, but you certainly can. For instance, if you're using a canning run, the canning people will not do a sour. They will not put a traditional sour through their equipment.
Huh.
Which was interesting to me.
That is interesting.
Whereas you could with these. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm gonna pull the pH or the final pH on all of these as well, and I'll have information sheets on each of the yeasts. So I think that will be really interesting. We'll see how they attenuate the alcohol, because everything started at an original gravity of 1.112.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got that the same across all 13 batches. So that was fun.
Yeah. So I was jumping back and forth between screens, so I may have missed this, but did you just buy the yeast, or are these wild, or what?
No, so these guys at IU, and I think they collaborated. There was